why does this book focus only on Muslim men and not on all men when sexual violence and contempt for women are universal phenomena? After all, when the Red Army invaded Germany between 1944 and 1945, Soviet soldiers committed many more crimes than those described in this book, raping countless German women in a semi-organized campaign of retaliation. In the Bosnian War of the 1990s, it was Muslim women who suffered at the hands of Serbian paramilitary rapists. Men who have recently arrived in Europe, North America, and Australia from Cuba, Argentina, Serbia, and South Sudan, to name just 4 countries with very small Muslim populations, have been guilty of sexual misconduct of all kinds. The leading sex trafficking rings in the world today are led by non-Muslim criminal gangs in various parts of Asia, Russia, and Central and South America. Moreover, it would seem that the consumers of the most sordid products of the sex industry, notably child pornography, are mainly from the West. If several million mostly young men had arrived in Europe from any part of the world, there would almost certainly have been an increase in sexual crimes against women. In this book, nevertheless, I focus on Muslim men's attitudes and behavior for 3 reasons. Number 1. The scale of the migration from Muslim-majority countries to Europe, as well as its likely continuation and the associated growth of Europe's Muslim population. Number 2. Its political salience. Put simply, evidence of sexual misconduct by some Muslim immigrants provides populists and other right-wing groups and parties with a powerful tool to demonize all Muslim immigrants. If we bring this issue out of the taboo zone, discussion will cease to be monopolized by those elements. Number 3. Frank discussion also challenges the Islamists who recognize the problem but propose a remedy that would set back all women. I am well aware of the difficulties of this undertaking. Talking about violence by Muslim men against European women is unfashionable in an age of identity politics when we are supposed to operate within a partly historical matrix of victimhood. It's even harder when the topic is a favorite of Russian agents of disinformation as well as alt-right trolls. Russian President Vladimir Putin's government is engaged in a campaign intended to destabilize liberal democracy in Europe as well as the United States. Directly or indirectly through credulous or malicious Western websites, the Russians spread fake news. For example, the claim that the perpetrators in the case of a gang rape in Spain were Arabs when in fact they were Cuban, Argentinian, and Spanish. Even without the Russians, extreme right-wing groups are highly effective in exaggerating or wholly fabricating anti-immigrant stories. Anyone who seeks to write in a serious fashion about negative aspects of immigration is almost certain to be accused of legitimizing the alt-right and its accomplices. Yet I'm convinced that a book such as this can provide far more effective arguments against those people than a strategy of denial, which would seem to be the alternative preferred by many liberals and progressives. Only by clarifying what has gone wrong in Europe in recent years can one make a truly credible case for effective integration of immigrants. For that, not the exclusion and repatriation favored by the populists of the right, is the only feasible way forward. You may ask why, if the problem is as serious as I claim, it has taken so long to bring it into the open. Part of the answer is that in the West, all things related to immigration and Islam are talked about with great difficulty, if they're talked about at all. Another part of the answer is that this is also an issue of class as well as religion or race. Most of the crime and misconduct against women takes place in low-income neighborhoods. The women who could afford to move to safer neighborhoods have done so, along with their families. Those stuck in the poor zones are the less well off. And somehow, in the era of Me Too, their predicament arouses much less sympathy than that of Hollywood actresses subjected to sexual harassment by predatory producers. In my life,